Hello everyone, Brian Jennings here. This channel exists to process my complicated relationship, my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I'm the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic last April, and we have been embroiled in what has now become a legendary psychic siege for going on 2 years. I've been making these videos every day, typically one a day, sometimes two a day. This is my second one today. And it's nice to see people engaging, right? Got some good comments, funny, sarcastic, like I get it, sarcasm, like I get it. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. I get it. How many bodies do you have in your basement and all these? It's funny. It's a funny comment. I appreciate all engagement. The one guy said, "Oh, if this is if this is to get the role, then he should get the role. But if it's just an act, then it's next level viral marketing." Because I'm not really talking about the movies a lot, and that's a funny observation too. Didn't make it up. Don't I'm not smart enough, right? Another guy said, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Like he should have hired him. They would have done great things together." And that was nice to share, for sure, for him to see what I've always seen, which is why I wrote. And to be clear, right? If I knew that it was going to degenerate into a fucked up mind game, I never would have written, "No, you're good. It's fine. It's fine. You just do what you do." I don't judge you, but no, I'm not interested in psychic mind violation, right? Sam Jackson can keep it, right? But now it's done. Now it's done, right? Like me and him, beyond space and time, right? That this is a real celestial siege that we're in the middle of now, right? And so, just to take a second, because I have a different framing here, I'll talk about my celestial vision board and say that everything that you see here was constructed with either a drafting compass and a ruler or by my hand, freehand, right? That this is, right? That everything that you see here and some of the things that you can't see, right, are all magical talismans of power, right? What I'll say is, if we start at the bottom, here we have 8 golden mean spirals. It's 4 sets of 2, right? It's 4 pairs. Right, that what you see, right, when you construct this, right, I didn't know what I was doing, it just kind of manifested accordingly, right, is that the one leads into the other, right, that this one is connected to this one, right, and to this one, right, it's connected to this one, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right, so it's 4 pairs of 2, like this. Right? And so what does that mean? What is that, like there's something there regarding, right, molecular spacing of structure, right? Delineation of molecular and atomic structure. Right? Not in any other books. Right? Subdivision of 11, right? Doubled 7 times. 11 or doubled 4 times, pardon me. It's 11 times 8. It's 88 subdivisions. Right? But it went 11, 22, 44, 88. Right? That's right? And so this is 8 11 pointed stars where you skip 3, I believe, skip 4, and then you draw a line. Right? This is 29 arcs. Don't ask me how I got that. I have no idea how I got there. That's the Rhapsody of Magic. Of course, on the other side of it is Ezekiel's wheel, right, which is becoming a painting right here, just that frame. Right, so 22, right, it's a subdivision into 11, right, with a circle drawn in the middle of it to give you 22, right, which is 22. 22 letters, right, 22 foundational letters, 10 Sephiroth out of nothing, right, which is this painting right here that is just out of frame too. So over here, of course, Ari Emanuel, right, with Moloch, Lamed Mem, Lamed Resh. Right? Right? This is the first iteration of the geometric diagram of Atlantis. Right? Right? So Poseidon and Cleito had 10 sons, 5 sets of twins. Right? And so there's a decagon in the middle, right, with 10 pentagons, 10 pentagrams, 20 pentagons, right? And so it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., etc., etc. Right? The geometer's nightmare, according to John Michel. Right? Of course, Levi, right? Levi's pen and ink drawing with Baphomet's is a master's copy, right? It's a little ugly. It's my first dry point etching, right? But it's right. The etching is good. I just got to get better at like cleaning the surface, right? And so this is the 59 stellations of the icosahedron. Each side of the triangle is subdivided by the golden mean, right? And then they're connected in a particular way. Each of these lines, each of these points has 4 lines emanating out from it, and it gives you this pattern right here specifically. Right? Dodecahedron inside of icosahedron, right? With compounded 5 cubes, which gives you the pentagrams on each of the pentagonal faces, right? And this construction derives from Robert Lawler, right? Sacred Geometry, its philosophy and practice. Right? Self-drawing, right? Study of the hand. I don't know if you can see that one. Yeah, that one's maybe a little out of frame. But if we go up here, right? This is the cubic wave field, which is in my video on Russellian science, right? This is a still life, right, of the living room. It's on the other side of this wall, right? 5 golden mean spirals, right? Distributed through 7 ellipses. So there's 5 spirals going up and 5 spirals going down, right? And this is the center, right? It's divided into 5. Each of the ellipses is divided into 5, which is a circle in perspective, right? Right, so this is a compound of 16 equilateral triangles, right? 48 subdivisions of the circle, right? The New Jerusalem, right? Right, 28 subdivisions, right? 7, 12, 28, right? The new cosmography, right? Just out of frame is a nice starfish, right? If Anastasio ever premieres a song about starfish arms, or Solomon's Temple, it came from me. I wrote Fish about reconciling with Quentin. Right? And of course, he threw me under the bus immediately, it's obvious. And while I don't know that, I know that. Because, right, they respect their fans, right? Quentin doesn't respect anything but power, but satanic occultism, right? Which, right? Oh, don't forget the ineffable, right? In the Great Pyramid, Yod Vohe, the Tetragrammaton, right? Right? But my point regarding Fish, right, is that if it was just me, right, if Quentin wasn't involved, right, if it was just me barking at the moon, right, saying, oh, show me the letters that involve me, right? If the answer to that query was just the 5 letters that I sent Fish, right, then they would send them to me and say, we're sorry you're not well. We're sorry you're struggling. Right? You're always welcome at our shows. We love you. Thank you for supporting us. Right? Right? But, of course, that hasn't occurred. Therefore, Quentin has slandered me to them and the Discovery Institute. So I've written a novelization of my experiences, right? It's called Building a Coven, right? Which is what has to occur, right? If this thing remains occulted and he keeps his arms crossed and says, no, I'm famous, I'm not spending any time with this guy, right? Then even if and when he pays me, right? Because he's wanted me to sue since April. And I'm trying. I'm trying to give him everything that he wants, you know? But it's not easy when you have no resources, right? But if it gets all the way to when he's getting his Vanguard award, right, at the end of September, and when he kicks off his movie at the end of December, which is the same movie, right, which has my intellectual property in it, right, then he's going to pay people to make my life miserable because he's a base, weird guy, right? And so that's why this channel exists, right? That's why I wrote the novel, right? That's why we're talking about it, right? So, right, this is my point when I say like, comment, subscribe, share. That every time we talk about it, every time we bring it into the forefront, right, we hold someone accountable for their deplorable behavior, right? Fame is not an excuse to be evil, right? right? That if he, my point being that he's not actually cool, right? That I no longer, right? Tribeca, this bullshit. It's bullshit. If he, right, was actually cool, right, when I blew it, he would have wrote me a single letter. He never had to meet me, never had to spend any time with me, and said, "This is how I make my movies. You opted out, right? You wanna not give me what I want, so, right? Here's a check for your scene. You sign this non-disclosure agreement and go fuck off anywhere else." And that would have been perfectly reasonable, right? I would have signed it, right? And kept my mouth shut, right? Instead, he would rather enter into this, ridiculous campaign, right? To try to overwhelm my mind, right? And now that he's failed, right? He's stolen my wisdom, right? And he is evil, right? His evil is hovering over me very heavy today. After I posted my first video, right? It's real dangerous, right? That he does whatever he wants, right? He has no reverence for his children, right? He doesn't respect any of the blessings he's received in life, right? That's my point. That's my point. That if he was a cool guy, he would have looked at that divine goddess that is Daniela, right? And said, "No, I have you. I have my children. I have a beautiful family. I have a beautiful life," right? I gave him a chance, and he didn't play the game by my rules, right? And that would have been, right? What can I say, right? But now it's degenerated, right? And William Morris Endeavor has insulated and protected him, right? God damn it. Right? Not only them, right? Fish, the Discovery Institute, David Mamet, Paul Schrader, Martin Scorsese, right? Oh, you think that he would still be doing any of these things if he had all those people looking to him saying, right, "We're going to denounce you publicly if you continue in this way," right? Therefore, right? They all support his evil. Right? They all say, "Oh, well, that's our Quentin." Just like everyone said about Brad when he got his Oscar for beating up his wife. That's our Brad. He smacks up his women, but he's a damn fine actor, ain't he? Right? And I don't care about that. Right? I don't fault him for writing a story. Right? That's his best film, 100%. Right? But my point, right, is that I'm allowed to live however the fuck I want to live. Right? I don't have to kiss Quentin Tarantino's ass. Right? I've spent so much time feeling sorry, saying, "Oh gosh, I blew it." And God, what can I do? Right? Abandon my job, right? Abandon my vehicle, all of my worldly possessions, right? Lived on the street for a whole season, right? Right? All the while he's living in his mansion, going, "Ha ha 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 ha, what a fucking jackass. This guy thinks that I love him. This guy thinks that I have a daughter that's in love with him." Right? "This guy thinks my daughter's a fucking skank who gets pissed on. Pretty funny." Right? To which I say, it's just sad and weird now. It's just weird. There's nothing interesting about what's occurring now. And so we're talking about it, right? Because he's descended into evil and it's hovering over me, right? And he's as evil as he wants to be forever. He's a sick degenerate, right? Right? I can't stress that enough. Cannot stress that enough, right? That he's like getting something out of this, right? Because I didn't give him what he wanted. Right? And again, he's a fucking pussy, right? If I put this evil on him, he'll send people to murder me. That's it. That's it. Right? What has Sam Jackson got to say about it? What's Brad Pitt got to say about it? Right? Why don't any of you motherfuckers ask him to treat you like he treats me? Right? Leo DiCaprio. Right? Uma Thurman. Right? No such thing as a female troupe in Quentin Tarantino's films. Uma Thurman's the only one. All of the women that are in the first Kill Bill are not in the second Kill Bill, with the exception of Uma Thurman. What does that tell you? Right? Right? He could have just been cool, right? He could have just said, "No, you blew it, right? You're cool, you're a badass guy. I see the light in those letters. You knew what time it was. right? But he wanted to say, no, I have to control the mind of every actor in the world, right? If he doesn't bend his mind to me, I'll use my mind to destroy him. That's it, right? There's no other way to interpret it, right? He doesn't expect this to persist for 20 years. It's a sick pathological psychology in both of our minds.